Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Town Square Media and 106.1 KISS FM proudly bring to you your podcast champion of the world. He's the R to the O to the B. I'm STEVE. We're here with Layla, too, bringing wrestling news directly to you.
Absolutely right. Thank you, Steve, for that live opening while we're still here broadcasting live from my home. Until we get back to the studio, we've got special guest Layla here with us, who's hanging out. Layla is wrestling just as much as we do. All right, so while we were gone, in the month absence, while I've been recovering from surgery, there are a few news stories that we definitely need to cover.
Yes.
And the first one that we need to cover, one of the biggest news stories, although this may have been the second biggest news story, I don't know how you want to rank them. We're going to talk today about the retirement of Daniel Bryan. I know it may seem like old news now, but we need to share our thoughts about this because this was a very impactful moment, a genuine moment that happened in February. I almost didn't want to believe it at first, Steve, and I'll tell you why. Before it happened, that day the news broke that Daniel Bryan was going to retire. And WWE was talking about it like crazy. It was on their website. They were tweeting about it. A lot of times I feel like that's a setup for a swerve.
Yes.
It didn't happen, though.
No, it did not.
Everyone knows he's had problems with his neck, problems with concussions. What a shame at the prime of his career, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, go ahead.
They were keeping him quiet so much that I thought for sure he was a shoo-in to be a surprise entrant at the Rumble. We had talked about that.
I even saw him possibly winning the Rumble, going on to WrestleMania, having another WrestleMania moment. One of the greatest wrestlers of all time, I think it's fair to say, despite having such a short tenure in WWE. I know he's been around for longer than that, but you make the real legendary moments when you're in the WWE. And I know a lot of local wrestling, or there's a lot of fans of independent wrestling that watch this, but let's be real. You make WrestleMania memories, you know. Those, I know Wrestle Kingdom has great shows, but people don't remember those Wrestle Kingdom moments like they do WrestleMania moments. I feel like Daniel Bryan's, the memory that will stick with me the most of him was, I guess I call it the night the Yes Movement began, and it was before WrestleMania 30, and the ring filled up with Daniel Bryan fans all going yes. That was a truly organic, memorable moment that cemented Daniel Bryan as a solidified star.
Yes.
Other great moments of his, it was like the summertime of 2013, if I'm not mistaken, and he was having the best pay-per-view matches of all time, including matches with John Cena and CM Punk, which both stood out as amazing.
Yes.
What are some of your memories of Daniel Bryan?
Well, I mean, the one thing about Daniel Bryan is he's the anti-Roman Reigns. As much as they are trying to force Roman Reigns down your throat, and I'm a Roman Reigns guy, I admit that, but Daniel Bryan got there organically, as Rob said. People loved him. He didn't have to force anything. He created the atmosphere. The atmosphere wasn't created for him.
It's even nicer, I feel like, because not only was he not supposed to be there, but I feel like he was supposed to be lower on the show. Like, when WWE hired him, they had his expectations down here, not way up here. He forced them to do it, and the right way with the crowd behind him. So you're absolutely right about that. His look was not that of a superstar. Exactly. His size was not that of a superstar, but he had the X factor that is not teachable. Yes. People cared about him. People loved him, and that's what got him there.
Yes.
So there was that. Other great memories of him include, I remember he had a Raw match with Randy Orton that I've watched recently, and I remember it was so good. Everyone was talking about the next day, and I believe they got fined because one of them hit the other one in the head with a steel chair.
Okay, yeah.
And they got a huge fine for that, but the match wound up being so awesome.
Yes.
So what happens now for Bryan? I feel like he's going to be with the WWE as in some sort of capacity, maybe as an ambassador. I don't exactly know what they do with him, but I feel like he's going to be employed with the company.
Yeah, outside the ring, his options are limitless in wrestling. I could see him behind the commentator's table. I could see him as a road agent. I could see him as a trainer. basically whatever Daniel Bryan wants to do, if it relates to wrestling, he can do it as long as it's not inside the squared circle.
Like when Pat Patterson was there on a daily basis,
yes.
one of his jobs was to put finishes on matches and to help put matches together. I could see Daniel Bryan doing something like that. Do you have favorite matches of his? I've mentioned some of mine.
Him and John Cena at SummerSlam was one that stood out. There was a
excellent match.
I believe he and CM Punk had a match on a Raw that really stood out to me.
He had a great feud with CM Punk for a little while there, and also I want to say it was Fastlane, but sometime in the beginning of 2015, he had a match with Roman Reigns that put Reigns over as a superstar.
Yes.
I want to say it was the February pay-per-view, Fastlane of 2015. So I just want to say thank you, Daniel Bryan, as the hashtag said.
Yes.
And also it goes for mentioning. Seems like a genuine guy outside of the ring too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A guy who enjoys making people happy. A guy who's very charitable in real life. It seems like that from everything I see. I know sometimes the stuff gets controlled, but what I see on Total Divas or what I see with Connor the Crusher just seems so genuine to me, So I guess that's going to about wrap this up, unless you have anything you want to add about this. Layla, you chirping in?
What do you want me to say? Layla wants to say, woo, woo, woo. You know it.